my son.
Sorry if I know I do that a lot.
Do what?
But when you just like look at me, I kind of expect something.
It's quite all right. We're learning.
One of the reasons I do that is just because like no matter how somebody looks at me, I'm usually always questioning like how they like
I
think
understand.
and how they
You
feel.
may ask me anytime. I will
Yeah.
always tell you the truth.
I just think that asking or saying what is like the safest thing for me to do since I don't really like perceive it the same
Well,
way.
this is how you're going to learn how to calibrate. When they look like this, they mean this. When you're looking for smaller and subtler cues. This is how we learn, buddy. Hey guys, can you hear me? Thumbs up. Anna, did I run into you at a signing and didn't recognize you? Uh, Unmute yourself, sweetheart.
Unmute. Yes, you did.
Okay, yeah. But my identification of people really is context dependent. My that actually is the way my brain works. I
I
have to. I don't remember people. I don't remember people's names. I remember context. Once I understand the context, then a vast amount of information presents itself. But I apologize, darling. That really is me.
I I know a lot of people who are like that. I am like that.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. I was a little surprised, but not mad.
Understood, understood. Yeah, I think everybody has those pockets. The average person, I think, and we'll get started in a couple of minutes, but I did want to say this. Most people don't have any more basic capacity than us.
Mhm.
All they've done is they've taken the capacity they have and shaped it or lumped it together in some particular way to accomplish the things that they want. And inevitably, most of the people who are extremely high performers are like those houses on the Universal backlot. Like the Psycho house looks great from the front. You go around to the back and there's nothing there. So this is one of the reasons not to be intimidated by really high performing successful people because everybody has those flaws. So the luckiest people are the people who meet the right teachers at the right moments in their life when the doors of perception, like the doors for language or math or music or whatever, are open and they get that right teaching at the right time. But the vast majority of high performing people that I have ever known simply concentrated, they still had only 1 pound of human stuff, but they concentrated it in a particular arena. The very luckiest people are the ones who meet the right teachers at the right time to take that 1 pound of clay and turn it into something beautiful and balanced and useful. They don't have any more stuff. They just invested it more carefully. So you can't increase the amount of stuff you were given. I mean, there are some people who are just taller, but you can learn how to jump higher. So that's my whole thing. It's like, okay, I can't change your height, but I can teach you how to jump better. And that is functionally just as good. Let's see. We have participants. We have people waiting for us. We have to let those people in. They're wonderful people. We love those people. Anyway, for all the new people here, what I need to do right now is I'm going to live stream this onto Facebook, and as soon as I've done that, I will start the recording, and we will get started because it is that time. Bum. There we go. Share. Oops, not share. I need to make a comment. Discard. Comment. Okay. Okay. And we are recording. And I think we're ready to go. Hi, welcome to Firedance. This is Steve Barnes, your host. I'm here with my lovely wifey person, Ms. Tananarive Dew.
Hello.
And Firedance is an offshoot of the life writing technology. Life writing is basically the notion of treating your life as if it's a story that you're writing, and to take the stories that you're writing and extract your core concerns from your life. And what I found was that if I looked at the hero's journey as being a way of looking at the process and story and thought to myself, why is storytelling so incredibly important? And asked the question, what if story is the way the elders of the tribe communicate deep truths to the kids in the tribe? At that point, a lot of things started making sense that didn't make sense before. And then it was a matter of looking for resources and organizing resources to go along with at least my view of what the 10 steps of the hero's journey are. Being a novelist and a husband and father and a martial artist, I kind of look for the ways that the simplest principles address the largest numbers of concerns. So if I was to go back to the very first observation here, it was that the hero's journey is a process of roughly 10 steps. It was created by a cultural anthropologist named Joseph Campbell back in the 50s, I believe, in a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. And the steps, the way I interpret his steps, and it's a little different, the hero is confronted with a challenge. Initially, they reject the challenge. They're either allowed to or forced to accept it. They set out along the road of trials. Along that road, they meet allies and gain powers. They will have their initial confrontation with evil, in which they are defeated. That defeat will send them into the dark night of the soul, where it feels like nothing that you're doing is sufficient. It's just despair. Okay. The way through the dark night of the soul is called the leap of faith. Now, the leap of faith can be one of faith in one of three things: faith in something deep within yourself, faith in your companions, teachers, mentors, family, community, or faith in a higher power, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. Any one of those three works. All three at the same time is what George Lucas used in Star Wars. If you do that, then you confront evil again, and this time you succeed in most stories. And the last step is the evolution to the next level. The student becomes the teacher, the return to the village with the elixir, and so forth. I realize that you could take any process and plot it out along that hero's journey. I could take any story and show you how that story either follows the hero's journey or minimalizes some aspects while maximizing others. It's like the 88 keys of a piano. You don't hit the keys in order to create music. You understand the emotional impact of the keys and you do double up on them or change the order. You do this. That's how you make music. You change intensity, rhythm, timing, and so forth and so on. That's the same thing that we do with story. And after publishing over 3 million words of fiction, I can tell you, and just watching basically a movie every day, I basically do that. You can't name a story that I can't show you how it fits in the hero's journey. The reason is because story is not recognized unless in some way it relates to the pattern that we understand as living. Whether you're talking about riding a bicycle or falling in love or achieving spiritual enlightenment or losing weight, it doesn't matter what it is. We can look at it that way. So once I had that, then it was a matter of looking for resources. And that led to a lot of different things. And I've taught this to thousands of people over the last almost 40 years now, maybe 35 years that I've been teaching this. The latest iteration of that, the latest tool that I created was Firedance. And Firedance was created about 10 years ago. More than I was in Atlanta for a family emergency, and my career was falling apart because I couldn't work in Hollywood, and the book industry was changing in New York. I had no contacts. I was in deep emotional trouble, and what got me out of it was the magic formula, was MAGIC. It was I read a book called The Science of Getting Rich by a guy named Wallace D. Wattles. And it's only about 100 pages long, and I read it and I could not remember anything in that book. And it scared me. I read it 2 more times and still could not remember anything in the book. And I thought to myself, what's going on here is I'm creating an emotional block. There's something in this book that my brain does not want to understand. And to not drag the story out, what I got out of it was that the thing I was missing was gratitude and faith. That in order to get out of Atlanta, I had to find a way to be happy to be there. Now, I could be happy, why am I happy in my life right now? Well, I love my wife. I'm here with my son. My son is doing well. I get to deepen my relationship with him. I get to spend some time and get to know my karate instructor better because he retired to just outside of Atlanta. The instant I started finding things to be grateful for in my life, something relaxed inside me, and I started seeing opportunities. And those opportunities are what enabled me to get back to California. So the magic formula, which is what I extracted from that book, basically MAGIC, The M is for map or model. You need to have, you need to clarify your goals and find someone who has started where you started and gotten to where you want to go. What did they do? How did they think? How did they feel? How did they act? You need a map or model. The A is action. You have to define, you take your long-term goals and you align them with shorter-term goals and you break those up into things that you can do today or this week. And one of the things that's important about this in terms of dealing with your emotions is that fear is a message to take an action. Our emotions are messages to take action. If you take action related to your fear until you are engaged so deeply, you go into flow state, you're in the moment. You may have fear, but you're using that fear as energy, and so you're out of suffering. You're just chopping wood, carrying water. You just take care of what needs to take care of. In fact, you can measure the degree to which you are taking action that you believe is effective by how much fear you feel. If you're feeling fear, it means that you're not taking that effective action. If you're taking the effective action, you're suddenly just engaged in the work. You're just in the flow of life. So you can actually use that as a measurement. The G in magic is gratitude. And this is something that we need every day. Gratitude is the antidote for fear, anxiety, anger, guilt. You want to escape those things because the meaning of life, from the position that we're offering here, is to escape suffering, embrace joy, and be of service. Escape suffering, embrace joy, and be of service. Escaping suffering doesn't mean you don't feel pain. It means you're not holding on to the pain. You don't hold on to yesterday's pain. You don't spend your time in fear of tomorrow. You're taking effective action to help prepare yourself to deal with it and protect your family and community. The I is intention. That's your goal. You need to have a goal. A goal is a dream with a deadline. Preferably, you write it down. You keep a journal. Where are you going? It's a little bit like looking at a map before you go on vacation. You need to know where you're going because there are 360 degrees of directions you can travel in. How do you know where you need to go, what you need to do, what resources you're going to need if you can't clearly define what you want? Now, what you want is to be out of suffering and to be joyful and to be able to be of service to the people you care about. What do you need to do that? You're going to need health, physically and vibrancy. You're going to need emotional health, and you're going to need resources. So being able to admit, there's a Mexican toast that goes health, wealth, money, and time to enjoy them. Health, love, money, and time to enjoy them. That strikes me as being as good a simple definition of what we want out of the world as I've ever heard. Health, love, money, and time to enjoy them. If you can admit you want those things, then you can start organizing. What can I do? And if you think you don't have enough time to change, to grow, to study, it's been estimated that the average person, if you take a look at the amount of time they spend on social media and the amount of time they spend watching television, the average person wastes 3 months of 40-hour weeks every year. We've got the time to be happy and healthy and to be able to contribute to the people we love, but we have to use that time. And you're not going to use the time unless you connect with your, oh God, am I going to say this out loud? Yeah, I'm going to say it out loud. There is no time management without understanding of mortality. Memento mori, without an understanding we do not have forever to get this job done. When you connect with your survival drive, that same part of you that's willing to fight for your life and fight for your dreams, one of the realizations you come to is that we are mortal, that we have finite time. If we're going to enjoy the things in our life and be of service to the people that we love, we have to look directly at that, or we cannot stand between the people we love and the things in life that would hurt them. You have that warrior energy is as important as the healer energy, the teacher energy, the lover energy. That energy that says, death is coming. It is a part of who I am. So I will embrace life and I will stand between the people I love and the things that could harm them. That is should be one of the intentions, is to be sure that you are all the energetics that you need to move through life, accomplish your dreams, stay out of suffering, protect the people that you care about. This is really important right now. People are in fear right now. They just are. And the C in magic, I've struggled with this. It's a concept that I have a hard time putting into words, but the closest C I can come in magic is your core. All philosophy and all art are asking two questions. Who am I? And what is true? Who am I says, who am I as an individual, and what is it to be a human being? What is true is about the universe. What is the world that human beings see? Anything you do in life can be a process of examining, who am I? Who am I really? Underneath the labels, underneath the images, underneath the things I was told about myself, underneath the masks I've worn, who am I? And there is no, if you come up with the simple answers that you come up with won't work. You got to get under all of those simple answers. It's been estimated that if you spend an hour a day asking the question, who am I and what is true, it would take you about 3 years to burn through all the answers that you've heard over the course of your life and get to clarity, that place that is referred to as enlightenment or awakening. But your art, your stories, isn't every story about what human beings are or what the world is? That's all that there is to write about in some very important ways. So MAGIC, that's what I came up with out of this book, the thing that I did not want to hear, the thing that I then began to focus on. And what I found out was that if I gave myself a score from 0 to 9 in each of those things, how clear is my map? How much action am I taking? How much gratitude am I feeling? How clear is my intention? And how much are my actions in alignment with my true being or my attempt to discover my true being? As if I had a 0 in any one of those categories, the entire equation zeroed out. It's a multiplicative equation. So I had to be sure I got just a little bit of each of them just to be on the track. But I also found out something really fascinating. If on a scale of 0 to 9, I was at like a 5 to a 7 in each of those things, I started getting lucky. It was the strangest experience, but I cannot do anything except say I encourage you to try it for yourself. In order to see whether or not what we're talking about here is real for you, there are just two things that you have to do. The first one is the first step in the process, what we call kind of the white belt level of this, kind of organize the different concepts according to sort of martial arts steps, because it's something I understand, is to breathe. That at least 5 times a day, you do 60 seconds of deep, slow, diaphragmatic breathing. Try that for 2 weeks. You set your alarm on your watch or your smartphone, let it go off, and you do this at least 5 times a day for just 60 seconds. In other words, invest 5 minutes a day, and in 2 weeks, you'll know whether or not I'm telling the truth. You'll know whether or not this path is for you. Be a scientist. Rejecting or accepting what I'm saying without actually performing the experiment is faith, whether it's negative or positive. No, be scientific about this. Try the experiment. 5 times a day, do 60 seconds of deep, slow, diaphragmatic breathing. If I'm right, you will completely change your relationship with stress. Stress is not the problem, as I've often said. Let me find a piece of paper here, because I love this. I love this. This is one of the most valuable things I've ever taught or ever was taught. Stress is not the problem. Strain is the problem. Strain is when you get so much stress that you can no longer adapt to it healthfully. Stress is pressure per unit area. Strain, from an engineering point of view, is deformation per unit length. It is the deformation of your body mind. It is when you're knocked off center. And the way to the reason that lie detectors work, polygraphs work, is because stress has an effect on your physiology. You change, pupil dilation, skin temperature, galvanic skin response, heartbeat rate, breathing rate, et cetera, et cetera. So a lie detector operates on the assumption that when you are telling a lie, your stress level goes up, and so somebody looks at the thing and says, "Oh, you're being measured on all these things." Okay, you ask them this question, they experience more stress here. We're going to interpret that as they were lying. So there's a feedback loop between stress and physiology, and you can control your body's reaction. If you control your body's reaction, you control your mind's reaction. You control your mind's reaction, you control your body's reaction. So if you interrupt that loop with breathing during the day, at least 5 times, and during a period where you're feeling out of control, like you're crying, without any particular reasons, you're feeling doomed like this, I would say you do that 60 seconds of breathing every hour. If you set your clock to go off every hour and you do 60 seconds of breathing, that still only takes 12 to 16 minutes a day. And you will completely change the way your mind and body process the stress. And if stress does not become strain, it turns into energy. It becomes the energy that you need to drive your life. And now you're using your body mind properly. So, before I go any deeper into it, I'd like to introduce my good lady wife, Tananarive Dew. Just bring her up here and let her make whatever statements, just let us have it, sweetheart.
Well, hi, especially for the new people. I see a lot of familiar faces, or if not faces, names. Since y'all don't have your cameras on, that's fine. Just like my students at UCLA have their cameras off. But I am Tananarive Dew, co-host of this Firedance. I almost said Life Writing because Steve and I also do a podcast called Life Writing, Right for Your Life on Apple Podcasts and wherever you podcast. But this is an offshoot of the teachings called Firedance that really started it as a Tai Chi discussion group, but has grown to more of a general writing, balance, healing, and success sort of almost want to call it a revival tent meeting. So we're here to share our experiences with stress in relationship to our art. We're here to hear your stories about where you are emotionally, and especially glad to hear from those of you who are writers, but don't feel like you have to be a writer, because generally everyone here just wants to feel better and do better. So that's what the bent is here. And while we're all taking a breath, hopefully literally, like Steve said after the election, I find myself doing a lot of deep breathing to try to keep those emotions at bay. Um, we're taking a breath before the new year. So it's a good time for us to, I thought, create community. And most of you see or saw that I have a sign up list for people who are on Blue Sky. No shade to anybody else, but we are taking advantage of the explosive growth of this new social media app, which is working very hard to be more user driven and far less toxic than a lot of places we have fled. Many of you are already there. So if you're there, you'll see the sign up Google Doc link in chat, and I can put it there again because you probably didn't see it if you came later than when I put it up. Just drop your URL on Blue Sky if you want to be included in the Firedance Starter Pack, which was really is just a way to gather community so that we can all follow each other and hear from each other. And aside from that, we'll be talking a little bit today about how horror can be healing, but Steve may have some other things he wants to say before that. So I'll turn it back over to him.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. And Tananarive is, she's my heart. My family is, there's nothing more important in the world to me than my family. I spent a bunch of money many years ago working with one of the greatest coaches in the world, and I wanted to see what this coach would determine about me. And one of the things he discovered was that anytime I think about my family, specifically my daughter at that time, my energy pops. That I have a very clear and clean connection to that sense of, being a dad, being a husband. Anytime I think about that, I get my motivation. And this is a critical thing for you to be able to discover what motivates you. So what I have in my life is this amazing woman named Tananarive Dew, and I know that I would be one of God's perfect idiots if I did not understand the wealth that I'd been given and it did not appreciate who she is and that she's done me the extreme honor of spending her life with me. Before we go any further, I would like for everybody to unmute yourselves and say hi, get your energy up because the energy with which you start your day is critical in creating a good day. So let's kind of get
Hello,
our energy up and everybody
everybody.
high five the people on either side. That's
Hello,
right.
hi.
There you go.
Hi.
There you
Hi.
go. That's right.
Hi.
That's it. That's
Hello.
it. All right, everybody's smiling, everybody's there. This is fantastic. I love it. I love it. So, very, very briefly, I've always got something I want to talk to you guys about. Um, and I guess what I will say is that yesterday I made the mistake of not doing my morning ritual because I got caught up in a conversation and I got into my day and everything was going great. I was doing things, I was handling things, I was juggling problems. And by 3 o'clock, I was burned out. I started feeling myself burning out. I was starting to drag. I was starting to get irritated by sounds, were distracting me from my work. I was feeling off center. It's like, "Ah, what's wrong? Why is there?" And all of a sudden I realized, that's right. I didn't center myself this morning. So I could stop and do the breathing, which helped. I got completely through my day. Then I quit and watched movies for the rest of the day and thought about, okay, let me start back over again tomorrow. I didn't have a zero today. By no means will I have a zero. I probably I give myself a 3 for yesterday. So I'm still on the path. But what I like is having that 5 to 7. And every single time I'm going to be doing Firedance, you understand that having this to do every week forces me to have greater clarity. It forces me to make sure that my energy is there so I can give that energy to you. I can only teach you from whatever I'm honestly experiencing. You can't guide anybody along a path you're not walking. So I trick myself into finding things that I have to do every day or every week that keep me on that path. And what is my goal? Well, it's to help 1,000 people who are each committed to helping 100 people. And so there are people who are so broken that they cannot stand up. There are people who are so afraid that they cannot function. One of the things that might help you find the strength to function is to be committed to helping them, to helping the people who cannot help themselves. We can often do things for ourselves, but we can do more for the people that we love. So I'm going to say that I will help anybody who needs help, but the people I'm most interested in, if you really want to help the world, teach. But if you really want to help the world most effectively, teach teachers. So that's exactly what I'm doing. That those of you that are willing to exemplify your positive values at a time when the world is afraid of darkness, what you need is to understand what you're trying to accomplish and why you want to accomplish it. If you have clarity on what you want to accomplish and clarity on why you're going to do it, why you are committed to doing it, then the how, what, why, how. The why, the how becomes relatively simple. But it's the what. What exactly are you trying to do? And why do you want to do it? To every day wake up. One of the first things I'll do in the morning if I'm not feeling it is I will, before I even get out of bed, roll over, I will smile. Because first of all, it triggers endorphins. But then I will look over my day and say, what have I got to smile about? And I will literally start looking for things in the day that I can do that would give me a smile. And one of those things is always, I get to contribute to my family. I get to write. I get to work out and practice my martial arts. I get to hug my son. I get to look at my son and tell him that his father is honestly doing the best he can with his life. I get to work with my students. I get to do this. I get to do this. Notice, not I have to. Did you catch that? Not I have to, but I get to. I have the honor of. I get the blessing of being able to. Exercise is not a thing I have to do. It is a celebration of the fact that I still can. It's a celebration. It's like, wow, I get to exercise. I get to move my body. My body in that sense becomes like a pet. Let me go out and run my dog. Let me give my gerbil a wheel to run on or whatever it is. Let me connect to my body. And it will give me, if I can love it, it will give me all the strength it can. Aging, quite frankly, and one of the ways I put it is like building an ice sculpture in the desert. Every day there's a little less ice. But if you are careful, if you keep refining your skill, no matter how much the ice shrinks, you can still make something beautiful out of it. And eventually, of course, the sands drink us all. But up until that last moment, if it gets down to just one last snowflake, I'm going to do the best I can. I will not go gently into that good night. So, what I wanted to do before.
Preach. Sorry.
Absolutely. Can I have an amen on a Friday?
That's a sound effect from our podcast. Pardon me. I got excited. Go on.
It's okay. Amen. Can I have an amen? Good.
You have
good,
an
good.
amen from Stuart.
I got an amen. So, the core of it, the breathing, which I can do anytime, but my morning ritual where I'm doing Tai Chi and I'm chanting out loud every day and every way I'm getting better and better. And the voice in my head will come and say, that's bullshit. You're not getting better. We've all got that voice in our head. Oh, we've all got it. But if one of my goals is to do Tai Chi every day and I'm doing Tai Chi and my voice says, it's bullshit. You're not getting better. I am literally in the process of getting better when the voice says you're not getting better, which says to me, oh, the voice in my head is a liar. Wow. To understand that the voice in your head that tells you cannot, or you should not, or you must not, or that all is lost, that voice isn't you. To understand that the voices in your head are not you, that you're not your sensations, your feelings, your memories, that you are not that, is to step into one of the secrets in advanced meditation. Because it starts asking the question, well, if I'm not my memories, if I'm not my feelings, if I'm not the voice in my head, who am I? And that is a sacred inquiry, and it is the path to freedom. I will think about the things I'm grateful for every day. And I will say, I'm so grateful for a strong, healthy body. Remember, I'm moving at the same time. That turns an affirmation into an incantation. This is about magic in that sense. I'm so grateful for a strong, healthy body. I'm so grateful for a strong, healthy mind. I'm so grateful for the people who love me and trust me. Jason, my son, Nikki, my daughter, my beautiful, brilliant wife, Tanana Reeve. And I say this out loud every day, 5 to 6 days a week. It used to be embarrassing to me for her to be there when I said that, but you get over that. It's critical to me that she know how precious she is to me. My sister Joyce, my niece and nephew, Stevie and Shar, may God bless them and keep them. I tend to use terms that are used, that relate to a belief in the divine, but it would be perfectly possible to simply have faith in the universe or nature, however you want to say it. You make the translation so that it is powerful for you. I will go through being grateful for my mentors, Steve Muhammad, my karate master, and Larry Niven, my writing coach, my writing mentor, just one of the most wonderful human beings that's ever been a part of my life. I give thanks for various other mentors, and I choose my mentors by the people who could effortlessly or without struggle accomplish my dreams. Who are the people who have already done it? So if you're trying to write a book and you have a couple mentors, one of my mentors is William Shakespeare. Seriously, one of my mentors is Octavia Butler. One of my mentors is Larry Niven. Between William Shakespeare, Octavia Butler, and Larry Niven, I can solve any story problem you can possibly imagine. All I have to do is visualize them before I go to sleep at night and tell my unconscious mind, come up with an answer for me by morning. And it never fails. The answer is there when I wake up in the morning, like, oh, okay, I was looking at this wrong. My mentors are chosen. All I have to do then is give thanks to my mentors, my mother and father, my teachers, my karate instructor, my writing mentors, role models who've gone before, experts in anything I want. But I make sure that one of them is my physical health, my vibrancy. One of them is my emotions, my ability to love, my ability to make contact and process my fear and anger with health. One of the things that oppressors and abusers want is for you to be so terrified that you deny your own power and stop fighting back. They're desperate for you to believe you have no power. And what I'm trying to tell you is that if you are in touch with your survival drive and you are aware of the fact that no matter what you do, you're going to die one day, then you start asking yourself different questions. What do I want my life to be in the light of that? Who do I want to help? What do I want to give? And a person, the most powerful lesson in the martial arts has nothing to do with punching and kicking and strategy. It has to do with a philosophy, a philosophical position. And that is, I'm ready to die and I'm ready to take you with me. That is a warrior's position. I'm ready to die and I'm ready to take you with me. And if you mean that, if you actually have worked through the fear, no one can control you. And oppressors and abusers and muggers are terrified of people who will look at them with that calmness. Bring it. Is this really worth it to you? Because no matter what you do, no matter who you are, no matter what you know, you may kill me, but I'm going to mess you up.
You know what? If I can jump in here.
Oh,
Oh,
please do.
I just did. Um, this to me is a good segue to what is so powerful to me about horror. For example, I even though it's not technically a horror movie, in some ways it should be. Liam Neeson's The Gray, which for some reason I will rewatch over and over again. If you've seen it, you know it has a relatively downer ending, and for the purposes of the story, I may be giving too much away. But for me, the draw of horror is definitely watching a character go from the arc of helplessness and fright to that exact energy you're talking about. You might kill me, demon, monster, zombie, sometimes ghost, but I'm going to do my best to take you down with me. I'm going to read this book and find the ancient incantation. I'm going to take this wooden stake. I'm just going to release my fear and stand up. That is my favorite moment in horror. Now, back in the day, it didn't always happen. Like Night of the Living Dead, Barbara like she's a Barbara. That's the perfect example of who you don't want to be, not just in a horror movie, but in life. You know, she stumbles, she's fallen. I mean, granted, she's been through a lot. She's shocky, but she's not proactive. She's depending on Dwayne Jones's character to take care of her. Um,
Yeah, Ben.
and Ben, yeah, and they needed all hands on deck. In fact, the whole point of that movie, from Romero's standpoint, was they should have been able to beat those shamblers. That's why he intentionally made them so slow. Daniel Krauss, the author, told me this, that Romero intentionally made them slow shamblers because we should have been able to fight back, but it was because of the divisions that they were not able to be a united front against an outside threat. So however you want to interpret what an outside threat is right now, January 2025, we are in the process of becoming people who are stronger than Barbara. People who, yeah, we're scared. Yeah, we're in grief. Yeah, we're disappointed, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to figure out how to protect ourselves, how to protect our families, and how to protect our community by whatever definitions of community we have. You know, some of us will spend the next 4 years deeply engaged with a child who may have special needs, and that's your battle, and that is your rightful battle. No matter who's in office, you still have that battle. Or you might spend the next 4 years organizing, or you might spend the next 4 years donating money. It's just a matter of how we can hold on to who we are as people, maintain joy, which you don't see a lot of in horror. Okay, there isn't a lot of joy in horror, but we are not in a horror movie. So we do have a responsibility to find and reclaim joy. Horror movies last for 2 hours, you know. We don't have time to see them laughing, but we must laugh. We must dance, even if it's chair dancing. We must express ourselves creatively, whatever that is, whether it's gardening or writing or anything in between. And for me, it's horror that helps give me those lessons over and over again of seeing characters facing threats not only greater than themselves, but often threats they literally did not know existed before the story started. And they have to center themselves. They have to move past gaslighting. They have to move past their own fear. They have to assume leadership to try to survive and help others survive. And that is where we find ourselves really all the time in life, but especially now.
Now, thank you so much, sweetheart. Um, there is a book that I did that is available to you guys, anybody who wants to be a leader. Tenari, would you post it at realheroesjourney.com? And it works like this. If you look at that book and you like what you see in the ad for it, but you cannot afford it, reach out to us and we'll get you a free copy. No strings attached, no games. That book is the work of my life, and I am continually updating it and polishing it. And it is intended as a user's manual for the human spirit, what everybody should have gotten in kindergarten. But it's especially for leaders, people who are willing to protect those who cannot protect themselves, to have enough physical energy to be able to help someone walk, have enough emotional energy to both love and fight for what they love, and to have enough additional resources, problem solving about our hunting and gathering, in other words, money, to be able to provide for those who cannot provide for themselves. Every Christmas, we do a Christmas giveaway where people who have excess send it to our PayPal account, and anybody on Facebook can send me a personal message saying we're short of money this Christmas, and we simply send them money. I have been doing this for the last 5 years. We give away thousands of dollars every year. It's one of the things that helps me feel that I have the right to abundance. Why? Because I give back to my tribe. It's not just about me. It's never just been about me. So if you are committed to helping others, you have to be committed to having abundance in terms of physical health, emotional health, and financial health. And if you're committed to that, I will coach you the very best I can because our task is to save the world together. Now, I will shut up, and it is time for people to raise their hands and ask any questions they have about any aspect of this process or any aspect of what's going on. Those of you who have been using this in their lives to make positive change, you can either tell us about a win you had or ask a question. And if you have a question, if you doubt anything that I've said, for God's sake, challenge me. Make me prove my point. If I cannot answer any question you have in a way that is powerful and centered and respectful, I don't deserve to be your teacher. It's as simple as that. Tom Barkley. Unmute yourself. Go
Yeah,
for it, buddy.
I'm always little slow getting unmuted. Sorry.
It's
Um,
okay.
this isn't about the fundamentals that you started out with today, but it is tangent. Something else that you put up on Facebook this morning was intelligence is knowing how to solve problems, wisdom is knowing which problems to solve. And I may be paraphrasing you a little
No,
inaccurate.
that's very much what I think.
This is something I've done without good effect a number of times, and I'm wondering what it is that I'm doing wrong.
Okay, talk to me.
For example, when I was still in the professional capacity at an insurance company in Irvine, I came across a number of things that said, PowerPoints can work better and training can work better in PowerPoints if we follow some principles of screenwriting and if we remember that the visual is more important than the textual in making a first impression. So I started plugging that into my work. And rather than people saying, yeah, that's really a good idea, I got frozen out from the preferred work group. Then I came across mind mapping, and I thought, ah, this is probably more acceptable because we use some visual elements and then we link to the textual and we make the steps easier. And this was especially important where I was working where a large number of people spoke English as a third or fourth language. And I wanted to be able to make sure that we got through to people who were really lifting the company by their bootstraps. Again, oh my God, here he comes with that stuff, that crazy stuff again. And yesterday, I think I did it again. I'm in a not very gifted choir that does have a very gifted music director, someone I've known for more than 40 years. The people are slow to learn new material. So it occurred to me, there's a way to slow down recordings of this stuff, maintain the pitches, keep it at pitch, but drop the tempo. If people would listen and work slowly on getting the rhythms right, then we can speed it up and then we can get to performance ready
Yes.
more reliably. And the response has been absolute silence.
Okay, so what you need to do is, in each of these cases, work backwards from what you're trying to accomplish. In terms of the company, you're trying to increase the, let's say the bottom line of the company. Okay,
It
the
was.
the technique or the route to doing that is to get greater efficiency and effectiveness of communication within the company. In order to do that, you have to increase your communication skills. In other words, be sure that you keep your eyes on the ultimate thing. Why am I here? Why am I doing that? What you found out is that somebody said something perfectly reasonable, that if you go visual, you will you will reach people better. And your efforts to do that did not work. So you have a couple different things, but if you keep your eyes on where you're trying to go, then your attitude is, well, I tried that, that didn't work, let me try this. And you keep trying different things. And the fastest way to do that is by modeling people who've gotten the result you want in similar situations. Maybe within the company, maybe in other companies. But do understand that the ultimate success formula from one position is you keep your eyes on the goal, you maintain behavioral flexibility, raise your energy like we did at the beginning of this, and then try it. Notice the results. Did it work? Yes. Do more of it. Didn't do it? Switch to something else. It's just, that's just the way life is. You didn't necessarily do anything wrong. You tried something and it didn't work the way you wanted it to. So you try something else. And you keep doing that until you get the result. If you look inside the company, who's been able to get the kind of results that you want? What did they do? Learn to do that thing better than they did it. Okay?
Okay. That
Okay.
I'm no longer with that company, but that approach
But I
might
think
be
the aspect of flexibility there works no matter what.
right.
Let
That's
me, you can PM me if you have some more questions about that. Let's move on to the next person. Okay. So, Stuart Young, London.
Hello, Steve. So I am working on my next theatrical play. I've written it, I'm producing it, I'm not starring in it. And this, I do not mean this in a flippant sense at all. Like, I don't know how to cause kind of a miracle or a breakthrough.
Okay.
Uh, we're doing a low-key performance, and I'm inviting all these theater directors and producers, and I'm not getting confirmations. And I'm any name that is coming across my phone or email inbox, I'm messaging them. But I get it. People are busy. I'm not famous. I'm not known.
Okay.
And
So, you've got a situation where you're attempting to do sales and marketing. You know that sales and
that's
marketing is
it.
the
Yeah, I
art
hadn't thought
of
of it that way.
refining your skill and then communicating that skill and the value of that skill to someone who needs that value. So, what are you offering them to come? Because their time is very valuable. You have to offer them something that is worth more than the inconvenience of them breaking open their schedule and going there. So you have to achieve rapport with them. The persuasion framework from neurolinguistic programming is you achieve rapport with someone, then you break their current pattern, and then you communicate that the thing you want them to do is connected to their own highest values. So you achieve rapport. An example, you achieve rapport with somebody by letting them know that you know who they are, that you appreciate the same thing. Wow, you did this and that, and I thought it was wonderful that you did this, and especially the way you did this thing over here. Now you have achieved rapport with them. They know that you care about them, that you have some idea who they are. They will continue reading because everybody loves reading about themselves. Okay. The next thing is that you break their pattern by catching their attention, make them laugh. You do something, and even getting them to think about a prior success that they had is a way of breaking their attention because
I was
they're
going
in
to
a,
say, if
yeah,
I can just jump in real quick,
of
and you don't
course,
have to
please.
spotlight me, I'm going to be real brief, but I
Okay.
read somewhere that one of the quickest ways to get someone to open an email is to have congratulations in the heading. Now, it needs to be sincere, and you have to
Yes,
know what you're congratulating them for, but it is very difficult to resist an email that has congratulations in the heading.
absolutely. And once again, this is sales and marketing. It is the thing that most artists consider to be like the devil's spawn. And if you have 10 units of skill plus 10 units of marketing and sales capacity, you will outperform someone who has 15 units of skill, more skill than you, who refuses to understand how human communication works. That's all it is, having confidence in what you're doing and believing that there are people out there who need what you've got and then communicating that value to them. What's in it for them? People don't change because you want them to. People change because they want to change to escape pain and increase pleasure. So, what is it you're going to give them in the text of the letter? And if they come, I think that you would like this because I think that this would be good for you because we're going to have a fantastic buffet. We're going to do this. If this is we're working with people, we're working with thematics that person can identify from their own work. You take a look at the stuff they've done, figure out who are they? What are their interests? Appeal to them. People will not do what you want them to do for you. They don't care about you. It's like going to get a job. You don't ask for a job because you need the money. You ask for a job because you think you can contribute to that job. I will show you how I will lift stress off your shoulders. If you will trust me, I will be the best employee you ever had. We're going to increase the amount of money we make around here, and we're going to have less stress and more fun doing it. I'm that bitch.
And Stuart, one
Quit.
more thing, if I could just jump in again.
Yeah.
This is another lesson from screenwriting, and I will admit we know nothing about the theater world. Okay, so we're using general principles to try to apply them to your issue. But one of the things I've heard in screenwriting, which is, as you can imagine, even more competitive with like, read my script, give me some advice, is that too many people naturally try to reach up to those who are at a level above them. And they are notoriously the most difficult people to reach, when in fact, you should be creating community in your cohort. So reaching out to people who are lateral, who are at your level or lower, to get
Yeah.
them to come. I mean, they don't have the most maybe immediate impact on spreading the word, but it's building a relationship that will be lasting.
And you can also use those people who are on your level to leverage your way up to the others. You find out that the person you sent the letter to has respect for somebody that you know who's kind of on your level. You could actually say, and such thought this was great. That social proof is really important. Remember, if you want money from another human being, if you want another human being to do something, you have to understand sales and marketing. So I would strongly suggest that you simply decide that you look at your goals. I want to be extremely successful. I want to get my ideas out there. I want to be able to employ lots of friends. I want to be able to have a big house and some money and money. What do I need to do to sell myself? Well, there are two things you need to do. One is to constantly be expanding your skills to get better and better and better. And then there's constantly expand your networking and your understanding of sales and marketing. Because when those two circles overlap, in the middle there, that's where you're going to create luck. You have been marketing stochastically, getting your name out there, constantly looking at ways you can increase your amount of service, constantly improving your value. At some point, they overlap and you start getting lucky. Okay? Does that help?
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
You bet. Okay, next, Maurice Barnes.
Hey, hey, good afternoon, Firedance family. I want to thank, it's good to see these faces again. Forgive me, I
Isn't it
haven't
though?
shaved.
Isn't this great?
It
I just
is,
love
it
this.
is. CJ said he's too busy to come in right now.
That's okay. It's okay. Our love
Working
to
on
him.
his artwork.
So, what I need, and I don't say this to other people, and I'll say this to you. I need you to be very precise about what you're going to ask me. Do not wander around. Don't give me backstory. Ask me a
Sure.
question, or tell me something specific. I want to
Well,
see how specific can you be, Mo.
I
This is a
can
challenge
be,
for you.
I'm going to
Just
be
do it.
very specific.
Do it.
Okay. Had to help a person in dire need, saving the person's life, a lot of history back and forth. I had set my boundaries, had to be with this person for a week of all people. That person called me, helped that person, had to deal with even,
Okay, hold on. You're wandering again.
so,
What's your
but
question?
in the end, no, in
What's
the
your
end, I
question?
set my boundaries.
No, no, no.
Oh,
Maurice,
no.
listen to
Mhm.
me. You're wandering again.
Okay.
What is your question? I have not heard a single question.
Um, did I do the right thing? I shouldn't feel guilty and just wait for the blessings to come even after I did
No,
all
of
of them.
course you shouldn't feel guilty. You shouldn't feel guilty. You should you should look at the interaction. Guilt is not useful.
Oh,
Guilt is fear. Okay, so you want to burn up that fear, so all you have is the information.
hmm
You look at what happened. Could you have been more efficient? We could always be more efficient. We can always be more efficient. We can always be more effective. You can ask yourself, how could I have been more efficient and effective? But just by saying that I felt guilty, I know, see, I don't even need to know what the context is. I know that you're going into that emotional space, and I know that you fracture, and I know that you look at all the story around what's happening. Whereas what I need you to do is the question, how do I deal with guilt? Is you look at the situation. Did you do the best you could? Then there's no reason whatsoever to feel guilty. If you didn't do the best you could, what can you learn from the situation? Let me move forward. Next time I'm going to do this. And ask yourself, what part of you was it that felt guilty? It's not the part of you that lives in the moment. And in the moment, that's the only time we can do anything. So what you're saying is, without even knowing anything about all that you're set up so that things that happen now, you connect to failures in the past and fear of the future, rather than staying right here in the moment and using that good brain you have. I have experienced you well enough to know you're a very smart guy and you're a very good guy, but you're dealing with a lot of fear and confusion. So this is why I cannot allow you to get into your story when you're here to ask a question. Now, if ask me the next question or make the next statement.
The next statement was the fear I have is not what I did wrong, or the guilt I may have had is not in what I did wrong. It's the way the sacrifice I made that affected my household. And my
Okay.
fear is this, I hope the blessing will come back to me
Okay.
for
So
that.
so
That's
here's the
it.
important thing. Put your own mask on first. Okay.
hmm
First, be sure, especially considering that you have emergency. Take care of yourself. Take care of your son. Take care of your household. Only give to others from your abundance. Okay? You don't get down in the water and swim with people who dived in and now are complaining
hmm
about sharks.
hmm
Get your feet on the dock on dry land and throw them a life preserver. So, what we can see there is that the lesson you can learn there is that you need to take care of yourself first. You need to be ruthless about that. And
hmm
as you begin to wake up to your need to take care of yourself first, you will be challenged. People out of your past will come and ask you for help. People
hmm
who are negative will try to drag you into their negative patterns. You will be tested 1,000 times. It's as if life is saying, do you really want a better life? It's like, you really want a better life, they say to a cocaine addict. Here's a line of coke. Are you sure, that you want to get your life together? There's some cocaine right here. whatever negative patterns have hurt you in the past, when you make a commitment to raise your level, all those old patterns will present themselves again. And you have to be strong. Now, that is the commitment to take care of yourself, but I suggest it's also the commitment to caring for your son. It's not only that he needs his dad to show him how to be a man and show him how to be an adult. And one of the things adults must do is draw the line. Say, this is my soul, this is my body, this is my family. I will take care of them first. If everybody did that, then you take care of your neighbors, and then you take care of their neighbors, and you expand outwards, but you expand outwards from finding that core of yourself first. The only reason I can help people like this every week is that I take care of myself first. That's what I didn't do yesterday. You get that? I did not do that yesterday. So that's what I need you to do. I feel 2 months ago, I would not have talked to you this way. I would have been more nurturing, more accepting. I would have let you wander. But right now, I can feel that there's a part of you that's starting to wake up that needs me to be a little tougher with you. You
I
need that.
understand.
I have to be dad. Okay?
I understand. I understand.
Okay?
And
And
just to share with family real quick, for the first time in months, Victor will be coming for the holiday, and this will be the first time he will be clean and sober at 19. Celebrate father and son reconciliation. I just need to make sure
let
we
me
can have
just
a
let me just
Thanksgiving
let you
dinner.
see. I want you to see everybody cheering you. Okay.
Thank you.
See, that's what you deserve. That's it. That's why you're fighting. Draw a line around your family. You, your sons, take care of them first. Then, only from your abundance, help the rest of the world. The world needs to be saved, but you save yourself and your sons first. They need you like roses need rain. They need you to be strong. Can you be strong for your sons? Can you be a man in that sense, Mo?
Oh yeah.
Can you be a
Oh yeah.
warrior for your
Thank you.
family?
Hmm.
I believe you can, or else I would not talk to you this way. I
Very
would
well.
not talk to you this way. I would think, oh, Mo is broken. Mo needs me to be kind to him. No, kindness in this sense is telling you I respect you enough to say, stand up. I respect you, Mo. You're a good man and a good father. And that means you can't always be a nice guy.
Thank you.
Okay? You
Mhm.
betcha. All right. You see the women nodding up there? You see that? You see that? That's what it is. That male female energy is both protective and nurturing. We all need to have both protective and nurturing aspects. But as a man, it is reasonable to think that you might be specialized just a little bit for protection. And that means that allows you to have a relationship with a woman who's specialized a little bit for nurturance. Now,
Mhm.
Tananarive is both strong and nurturing. I could not be with a girly girl who expected me to be a manly man all the time. I can't do that. I'm a
Mhm.
goofball. Okay. But that balance is what creates life. You're a father. Be a father. And as long as you have that commitment, I will absolutely stand with you. You understand me?
Yes, sir. Thank
All
you.
right. Go for it. All right. So we have Angela Dalton. Hey, Dalton.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi. How you doing?
Hi. It's been a long time. Okay, and I'm
We
gonna
have
try and make
missed
this
you
quick.
so much.
I
Oh, we come
know.
back. Come
Like you
back.
had it on Saturdays, and I couldn't do Saturdays, and then finally my Saturdays cleared up, and then it's on Fridays. I was just like, ah. But anyways, I will try to make this quick. So I know there's other people, and I also want to tell Mo really quickly. Mo, I hear you. I understand what you're saying. I have a nonprofit. I had to fire a friend because of the level of disrespect that this man did to me. I am not worried about that man's feelings. Okay. He was disrespectful. That was my name that this man almost like ruined. I'm not worried about that man's feelings. Okay. So
His feelings are not your responsibility.
not my responsibility. And I was offering this man a job, money to pay his bills, and especially in this economy and the level of disrespect. I'm not worried about that man's feelings. Okay. So you
That's
shouldn't worry
right.
about that person's
That's
feelings.
right. Because
Okay.
if you tolerated that, you would not be able to serve your community. You would diminish your belief in yourself. You
Exactly.
cannot do that. So
Cannot.
what can
Okay.
I do for you today,
Well,
sweetheart?
I have like because the last time I was on here, I cried. Okay, so I have nothing but wins, and because of you and Tananarive. Okay, so I'm just gonna send. I'm gonna share my wins. Okay, first, I made it here today. That's my first win. Yes, I made it. Okay. Second, I had been the last time. I think the reason why I was crying last time was because I was trying to work on my writing. I was struggling. I had broken up with my agent. There was an agent who I really, really wanted. She and I were going back and forth all summer. At one point, she was like, "You know what? Let's take a break. I'm going to Lisbon. You need a break. Let's pick this up." I thought she was going to ghost me. Back and then in September, like I won an award, and one of her assistants hit me up and was like, "Hey, do you have a picture book?" And I had just like pulled this picture book out of my head, and it was not refined, but I remember you saying like sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith. It was because otherwise I would have gotten in my own way because it wasn't perfect. It wasn't, I was like, I was worried that like I was going to shoot myself in the foot because this was like, I was taking my shot with sending this picture book. And I sent the picture book, and I am now signed with his agent. And I am
All
so
right.
excited because I took that leap of faith, like you said. And then the third thing was, again, I said like this nonprofit. I used magic. So I've had this nonprofit with a friend for about 2.5 years now. It's called Storytime Friends. We deliver picture books to kids in hospital. And we had our first fundraiser this November. During this awful election, during all of this stuff, we raised $30,000. And using
Great.
magic,
Hey
using
now.
map, action, guide, intuition. I forgot what C was, but
Gratitude.
I used it.
Gratitude. The G is
Gratitude,
gratitude.
gratitude,
That
and
that's
then
that's your mood. Keeping
yes,
your energy up and flowing outwards. Okay. And
yes,
then clear intention, so mentor, because you guide him, and then your core, your sense that this is your destiny. This
yes.
is this is what you were made to do. I was born to do this. I am that bitch. I mean, it's just
I am that bitch because we raised $30,000 and nothing but gratitude. We were doing abundance rituals every week. Like we know that we are vessels for this money to help kids in the hospital, especially like during the pandemic. There's still pandemic protocols in place, so a lot of times kids in the hospital, especially long term, don't get to see their families, and it's just awful. And so we just bring a little bit of joy to kids in hospitals.
Well, all I'd ask from you is be sure you're doing the breathing, okay?
Great
Because
work.
it sounds to me like you are on the edge of a big breakthrough. It sounds to me like you're going to be given, if you can keep going down the path you're going on, you're going to be given a big opportunity, and you're going to need to be super clear on who you are. So that's the way things happen. That when you take luck out of the equation, when you say, patience my ass, I'm going to kill something, that attitude, that's when luck happens. The
Mhm.
instant you don't need luck, that's when you get luck. So you sound like a real go-getter, and you're committed to changing the world. You're exactly the kind of person I want to help. I
This
mean,
stuff works, y'all.
exactly.
This stuff works. Everything they're talking about, it works, y'all. It does.
Thank you
Great.
so much, Angela.
That's great.
Bless you, child. We're getting ready to make some massive changes in our lives in terms of career opportunities opening up. We have to be so clear. We have to be,
Sorry.
so it. What'd you say,
My
sweetheart?
music came on.
Oh,
Sorry, my
No, it's
music came
okay.
on.
So when you show up and you say something like that, it reminds me to be on my job. We're all alone in this together,
right.
is the way
Exactly.
one of my coaches said.
Mhm.
Thank
That is
you.
it.
Is there anything, if
Oh,
there's
thank
nothing we
you.
can do for you today other than love you and say we're proud of you,
Oh,
then is that what you need? Would you like to have everybody cheer for you?
And
thank
great glasses
you.
too.
Because
Oh,
we can
thank
do that. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let me
you.
remove the spotlights. Remove the spotlights. Well, everybody, please give a Friday cheer to Angela.
Yay.
She is saving lives and
Yeah.
changing the
Round
world.
of
There we go.
applause. So
There we
grateful.
go.
All right.
Absolutely love it. And let's move on to Joanna Wheeler.
Hello.
Hello,
Hi.
Joanna.
Come on. Hi.
There you are. Spotlight for everyone. How are you, dear?
I am good. I have two things to say today.
Okay.
One is gratitude, and the other one is a victory. So, first, my gratitude is for Tanana Reeve. I read your collection, Ghost Summer, and your story, Ghost Summer. And I thought that the little thing that you added at the end about how you had written the story before you had the idea for the reformatory, before those events happened in your life. And I thought that was so amazing. I'm like really interested in that ancestral connection with writing. And so
I was just discussing that with my students yesterday, that my mother told me I had imagined a conversation with her where she said that bodies were being dug up on that property. I mean, I was like, what? Because I was just so clear. They were clearing the land for real estate. They were finding corpses and digging them up. And she said, no, that never happened. And for those of you who don't know, in my novel, The Reformatory, at least my journey with that novel began with exhumations where the remains of my great uncle were dug up from the Dozier School for Boys.
yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that in. Go on. Sorry.
I just wanted to say I really love that. I love hearing stories like that. There's another author, she's a poet, Camille Dungy, and she wrote a collection of stories called Suck on the Marrow, of poems called Suck on the Marrow. And she had talked to me about how she felt like her ancestors like came into her room and sat on her bed and like whispered the story into her ear. And I don't know, it was just like affirming to hear that happened to you. So I just wanted to thank you for writing that and following the muse and all
Oh,
that.
well,
So
I appreciate that. Is this your first time coming to Firedance?
no, I've been a few times. I'm not a huge talker, so
Okay.
talking
Well,
today.
I
But
deeply
you said that there
appreciate
were two
that.
things. Did you
Yes.
get both of them out?
No.
Oh, a
Or was that
win.
just
You had
one?
a win.
Yes, let's
Yes.
hear the win.
Well, yes. Yeah, I had a victory. So I have been following the magic formula. I am on the white belt level. I'm still working on breathing 5 times a day, doing my deep breaths. I'm tracking it, and there's a lot of days I fall off with it. So
Yes,
I'm working
yes.
on it. But
Yeah, that's all I ask for.
yeah,
It's just a journey, sweetheart. There's no honor to being at one point on that journey other than another. All there is the path. All there
mhm.
is the path. That's it. So you're doing it. So
No such thing as
what,
perfection.
no such thing. That perfection is a verb,
Mhm.
not a noun. Not an adjective. It's a process rather than a position. So you are perfecting yourself one step at a time. What is your
Yeah.
victory other than that
So
gorgeous smile?
I've also been following. Sorry, what?
Other than that gorgeous smile, what's your
Oh,
victory?
thank you. Well, I've also been following the life writing method, and so I've been trying to write a story a week and polish one up a month.
Wow,
I
that's
did that,
great.
which I'm
That's
really
great.
proud of. And then I also have really struggled with sharing, which is something that I talked about once here before, that I struggle to share. And I did it. I put my story on the Black Ladies subreddit, which I'm like an active participant there. And so I put my story up to see if I could get some feedback from people that I consider to be my audience. And nobody responded. And there was weirdly a victory in that, because I had to face a fear of, I feel like I hesitate to put things out there. And then I did put something out there and nobody responded, which is like terrifying to me. But then when it happened, it turns out it didn't really like hurt me that much. I just,
Okay, so let me ask you a couple of questions. First of all, it's absolutely a victory. Okay, and I want you to notice the ways that your language came in to indicate, well, maybe it's not a victory, but I'm going to consider it a victory. No, it's a victory, period. You're on the path of being a writer. So when you say it's terrifying, that means that you perceive that rejection as meaning something.
Mhm.
What does that rejection mean such that it terrifies you?
Well, I think it just would mean that nobody would be interested in.
In what you had to say, right? So that voice was coming into your head. Well, when that voice comes in there, you look at yourself in the mirror and you say, I am that bitch. That you know that the path is getting rejected. The path is getting hit and getting back up and taking the hits and keeping going. That you can talk to anybody who's made it, and that's just what they go through. Okay? There are
Mhm.
a tiny percent. Go, T, jump in. Was there something you were about to say?
No,
Okay.
just listening.
There is a tiny percentage of people who write something and it gets bought immediately and the world celebrates them. Some percentage of successful writers below 1%. For most of us, it's you work, you put it out there, you get the rejections, you get nothing, you work, you put it out there, you work, you put it out there, on and on. Then finally you get a little bit of feedback that's positive, and then you get a little bit more, and you keep making your adjustments. Okay, you keep learning. You're constantly improving your skills, you're constantly improving your networking, which in your case is putting it up on Reddit, sending it out for publication, and you make the commitment. The reason we say that the life writing process has never failed, one of the reasons is because you're going to write and submit for publication. By publication, I mean money. The sincerest compliment is a check that clears the bank from a stranger. That's what you're aiming at, okay? And you will write and submit at least 100 stories before you even ask the question of whether or not you can or cannot make it. All the emotional stuff that comes up between you and that 100 stories, that's just, it's like, oh, you're just learning about yourself. That's what people do. And when you can be honest about that, your understanding of human nature will skyrocket. Suddenly you'll start seeing exactly what has stopped the people that you've observed. Why did they drop off that diet? Why did that marriage fall apart? Why this? Why that? Because they could not keep going through the periods where it felt like nothing was happening. They didn't have faith. So you know now that one of the things that you're going to have to do is to find that spark of faith that made you say, this is a victory, and come here where we can reinforce, damn straight it's a victory. You want more of that. You want to be a 7, 8, or 9 about being able to maintain that sense of who you are, even if the world does not give you any feedback. You have to love yourself enough to be willing to give that little girl inside you a safe place to play. So it's her mommy's job to look at the statistics, the money, the rejection slips. It's the little girl's job to play and dream and write. Mommy will protect her. And if the little girl is disappointed or cries, mommy hugs her. What can you do to change your mood when you get a rejection? What will make you happy? I'll watch this movie. I'll write a letter to myself that I will read when I'm feeling depressed. I will call this friend and say, let's go out for ice cream together. Whatever it is, feeling gratitude to the world for the reactions that you get. If you can do that, you can tap into those positive emotions, and you're going to need that. And the reason we can say that not a single person who has followed this path has gotten past story 25 without publishing is because we build into it the knowledge that if you have the grit to write 25 stories, send out 20, that'd be like 25 months. But the next 25 months, because you're sending out one per month, right? You could accelerate that. That's a little over 2 years. In a little over 2 years, you're going to be published. If you will send those stories out to the people who have the capacity to make money. If you read 10 times as many stories as you write. If you write a sentence a day. If you do this, follow this process. The emotions that come up for you will end up being the same emotions that have come up for you in other arenas, and you'll be able to start seeing the shape of your life differently. Oh, this is what I needed to get this. This is what I need to get this. You have to love yourself enough to forgive yourself for being the same imperfect human being the rest of us are, to be able to look at both our failures and successes with equanimity. It's like, this is just the path. And I am so proud of you. I think it is so wonderful what you did. And you acknowledged it was a win. You deserve to celebrate. Anytime you get a win, and you get to decide what wins are, celebrate. Tananarive.
Yeah, I was just curious, Joanna, how long did it take between the time you noticed, gee, nobody's responding to my story, crickets, and your mindset to like, huh, okay, well, I've learned something here, and this is still a win. How long a process was that? Was it immediate or did it take some time?
It was like the first day actually, because at first I was like worried that people were going to say really like negative things and like rip it apart. But then I was like, wow, this is like a different part
You
of
weren't
my.
expecting that.
Yeah. And then the next day, I kept it up for a couple days and then I took it down and I decided to just read it out loud to myself and like workshop it from there. So that actually really helped me like restructure it a bit, and I was happy with that. So I just felt like maybe the timing wasn't perfect for it, but I believe in the story, so I think it's okay.
Good.
No, good
Yeah.
for you. I just think that's so important because mindset is, I mean, what's that quote? Nothing is good or bad, only thinking makes it so. Not exactly true, but true enough. True enough.
And
And there are
and
a
one of the
lot of
things I want you to
times
look
I
at,
remind myself of that.
at some point you're going to probably want to find a writers group. People who, you read your stories, you judge your stories. But you'll notice if you take a look at the 13 success principles and Think and Grow Rich, the mastermind principle is number 9. Okay? Before you get there, what you have to do is you go through the other 8 steps. Now, what are those steps? A burning desire. You need to find that burning desire to be a creative artist. Okay? You need to look at your faith. To what degree do you believe I am this? I am that bitch. I can do this. I can absolutely do this. If you don't feel that certainty, that's okay. Be honest about that. And now you've got auto-suggestion. That's the third step. So you use things like the morning ritual to specifically program yourself. That's software. The lack of belief or belief is software. You can change your software through things like auto-suggestion, self-hypnosis, meditation, therapy. There are any number of different things you can do. Find one, use it every day because you need to be you need to be lined up. The next thing, specialized knowledge. Do massive research into your field, both the marketing and sales, in other words, what is the business of writing like? And of course, constantly expanding your ability to write. So it's like for every story you write, read 10 stories. Just, really start digging in. You want to be so good, you want to know so much about your area that you could teach a class in it. When you could teach a class in it, I say, if you could teach a class in your sleep, that's when you've really got it. It's like you want that unconscious competence. Okay. Step 5, after you've done massive research, is imagination. You need to plot out a path to where you want. Now, let's say you want to be a best-selling writer, best-selling novelist, and make a ton of money doing that. The first step you need to get to do that is to publish a book. That's how you start the process of being a best-selling novelist. This first thing you need to do to sell a book is to sell a short story. In order to sell a short story, you have to write and submit stories. See, so you look at what the plan is. I'm going to do this, and this is how I'm going to do it. And every step along the way, you will learn additional things. And as you begin to learn about the world, what is true, and you look at yourself and you constantly have the belief, I can't do this yet. I don't know how to do this, but I can learn. Okay, so if you have that confidence, then the more you learn about the world, you're just learning what it is you need to know in order to succeed. You're a hunter. You're a hunter. You're stalking your future. Organized planning. You're going to do this and this and this and this. Number 7 is the decision. You simply make a decision. I am going to be a best-selling novelist. And I will take the steps necessary to get there based upon what I can see from modeling other people who've done it. The next step is persistence and built into the life writing formula. All this stuff is built into the life writing formula, okay? Is you're going to continue this process 100 times. When you've made that commitment, it becomes easy to find other people who are on that very special path, who are also struggling, who are also committed to the journey, and they've been looking for somebody just like you. The mastermind is 2 or more people who meet in a spirit of total cooperation to accomplish a goal. It can be the same goal, or it can be a supportive goal. I want a job, you want a job in different industries, but we can still support each other. This process and the other things they talk about in Think Grow Rich are the best way of looking at what is it that makes success that can be measured, no matter what terms those success, it could be health, could be wealth, could be love. You're doing the right things. Just clarify what you're doing and why you're doing it and keep doing it. And preferably get at least one person that you can talk to every week to say, these are the steps I took. What do you think? What are the steps you're taking? This is what I think. And coming here to this group is a way of doing that. And there are people who here who have found partners to write and exchange stories with right here in chat. If you were to say, would you take a look at this story in chat? And I'll take a look at one of your stories. I can almost guarantee you somebody will say yes.
Yeah, I see some people on the site. I'll put my email address. So thank
There
you.
you go. There you go. This
Yeah.
is a practical workshop. That you guys in chat are actually doing what it is that needs to be done for this to be real. I can talk, I can answer questions to the best of my ability. But if you take the magic formula seriously, and I pray you will, and then you take one other pattern seriously, and I suggest you find that other pattern from somebody else, because I can't be responsible for your soul, but the magic formula works. And in another pattern, a writing instructor, something like that, if you use the life writing pattern, that 6-step process of writing a story, a sentence a day, 1 to 4 short stories a month, et cetera, between the interference pattern between the different rules, the different sets of rules, you'll be able to glimpse reality. You'll be able to glimpse what you're looking for. Always work backwards from being a happy, healthy, successful writer. And happy and healthy. It means, yes, you want that smile. You want to look at yourself and feel that, success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. Any day that you take at least one little step, you need to celebrate. You did it. You stole a little bit of your life back from the world. And in this time right now, when you can learn how to do that, people are desperate for a sense of perspective and hope. And if you can be one of the people who has perspective and hope in hard times, you have a product that the world wants. And all you have to do is get your skills to the point that you can cleanly communicate that, and then learn where those people are and communicate your value to them. And suddenly you're making money.
Yeah.
Okay? Anything else I can do for you,
Yes.
darling?
No, that's all. I'm going to put my email in the chat. So all the people who said that we could trade stories, I would love to do that.
Fantastic. That's what you do. And then you do that effectively, and who knows, maybe we, from time to time, we read stories on here and analyze them and give feedback. That does happen. If people want it, we're here for you. We do this for 90 minutes every week for you guys. So you let us know what you need from us, and we will shape what we're doing to fit that need to the best of our ability. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you,
much for your
darling.
time.
You betcha. Bye bye.
Bye.
All right. Let's see. Is there anybody else? We just got finished with Joanne. Is there anybody else? Let me see. Pamela, I have been looking at you, and you've been giving some very interesting facial expressions. And I would love it if you would say hi to us. Hello there. Unmute yourself, darling. There
Hi.
you go.
Yeah,
Hi.
took me a minute.
That's okay.
Hi,
So, how are you
everybody.
doing
Yeah,
today?
this is my first time with the group. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So, what can we
So,
do for you? Why are you here? Just anything we can do for you, let us know.
actually right now I just came to listen. That's all and
That's
learn.
fine.
As a first timer, just
Well,
to
then
kind of
all I
get
would ask is you will know whether or not this path is for you if you do the breathing. Okay,
Mhm.
just set your alarm on your smartphone to go off at least once every 3 hours. And when that happens, you do 60 seconds of deep, slow diaphragmatic breathing. Do that, and stress starts turning into energy. It's a very different experience. And you'll know whether or not I'm telling you the truth in just 2 weeks. So if you're
Okay.
willing to invest an hour of your time, because this is 5 minutes a day, 6 days a week for 2 weeks, one
Mhm.
hour, you will know whether or not I'm telling the truth. If I'm not telling the
Okay.
truth, I'm not your teacher. This is not your path. But if I am telling the truth, then please come back and bring your energy with you, and we will learn together. So be a
Okay.
scientist, perform the experiment, find out. If I ain't telling the truth, I don't deserve to be your teacher. Simple as that.
Okay. All
All
right.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. All right. So let me take a look. So we talked about the the new course that we've got, because we ain't shy about mentioning the fact that we've got courses. So we have things that we sell. It's just that it's not necessary for you to buy anything from us for us to want to coach you. We coach you just because we love you. But if you get a copy of the Magic Formula book at realheroesjourney.com, it's easier for us to do it. And like I said, if you can't afford it, let us know. We'll send you a free copy. We also have the 30 days, writing your horror story in 30 days course at www.fearmasters.com. We just launched it. It's already getting very, very popular. It's so much fun. And all that Tananarive and I are doing is taking what it is that we've learned and giving it to people as fast as we possibly can. Uh, because they're digital downloads, it's possible at times for students to reach out to us and say that they have a need, that they can't afford it, but they really want it. And sometimes we can say yes. I love that. I absolutely love that. So let us know what we can do to serve you. And we will. There's somebody over here who just caught my attention. It just says iPhone. Somebody's, I'm going to put a spotlight there. Could somebody, would you unmute? Yes. Yes, that's
I
you.
am okay, me. Oh, hello.
Hi.
Hi, this is my first time here.
You're welcome here.
I have seen you some Saturdays many, many months ago and got tangled in other things and wasn't able to come. And then I got this invitation today. I said, I just came back from the doctor's office, so I'm still, but I've been listening and I like this.
What can we do to
I
serve you?
like this. Keep me on the mailing list and tell me how I can join.
Okay,
I like what I'm hearing.
if you're on the mailing list, then you will get an email every week. Tananarive
Great.
list or Stephen Barnes list. You'll get it every week, totally free. Just, the link is thefiredance.com. We try to do it on Fridays at noon. Sometimes it's Saturdays at noon if I'm traveling or doing something.
Okay.
But we really trying hard to do that. Let us know how we can serve you. Please do the breathing. Please do the breathing. One of the worst things about stress is that stress will discourage you from doing the very things you need to do to deal with the stress. Stress will get you to ignore self-care. It'll give you that sense of urgency. I've got to run, got to do. No, you need to pause first. It's like, if you don't do that, it's like not putting your car into neutral when you shift between first and reverse. You will strip your gears. The pause is neutral. Pause. Own that moment. Then move and take care of the rest of the world. Take care of yourself first, okay, darling?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
the more other people need you, the more critical it is to take care of yourself first.
True.
Okay, so come back to us and let us know what we can do in the future. Everybody unmute yourselves and say goodbye. It's like we're done for the day. I get to get into work and play. I'm going to take my
Thank
wife out for
you.
date night.
Thank you.
Thank you
Yay.
so much.
Fantastic.
Thanks, everybody,
Bye.
and happy
Wonderful.
Thanksgiving. Since
Happy
Yes.
Thanksgiving.
you're back to
Absolutely. I
work
will
this
see you the
weekend.
day
Happy
after
Thanksgiving,
Thanksgiving.
everyone.
I actually canceled a panel I'm supposed to do at a convention so that I can be with you. I'm just going to have to be sure to remember that, because this is important to me. I
I'll
want to
be
be
at that convention.
100% honest, 100% straightforward, and I will close this today, as I always do, with the Sanskrit expression that says that the divinity within me salutes and acknowledges the divinity within each and every one of you. Namaste. Take care.
Namaste.
Be
Namaste.
well.
Love you all.
Love each other.
Thank
Be
you.
fierce. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace in your love.